we were to work under the assumption that you're serious about making Canada a 51st state of the United States, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada said, under no circumstances will it ever be the 51st state.
Maybe he won't win, but maybe he will. I don't.
Point, you had suggested.
Listen, I don't care what he says.
But Sir Lopez, you said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force, because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada. So many friends up there. I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it.
Under my watch for Ontario, it'd never be for that at all. We have the greatest country in the world. We have the greatest province anywhere. Any sub-sovereign nation is Ontario and the rest of the provinces as well.
You think he's joking?
We would, you know something, to the president, I'll make him a counteroffer. How about if we buy Alaska and we'll throw in Minnesota and Minneapolis at the same time? So, it's not realistic. I know he likes making these comments and he likes joking around. I take that seriously. He may be joking, but under my watch, that will never, ever happen.
I'm really concerned about the willingness, if Donald Trump says something crazy, to reflect on it. Well, what does he really mean? Is he really going to break Canada economically? Is he going to invade? To me, that's all undermining our nation at this point. I'm sorry, pundits. Get your act together. I'm sorry, national leaders, get your act together. I'm sorry, provincial leaders, stop gaslighting and trying to cut each other off. Let's put Canada first right now. That's what we have to do, because here's the thing. There is not a single thing Donald Trump can do to us that frightens me. The only thing that frightens me is that we would be sold out or undermined by our own people who have forgotten to stand up for the values and the decency and the fairness of which Canada has been based on since we were formed as a nation.
We're not going to be slapped around like this. I think there's a tradition in Canada of not wanting to be openly confrontive, which is fair. I think that's who we are. But Donald Trump's a different kind of animal. He's playing for the rage algorithms. And I don't think we should allow him that free reign. So for me, it was really simple. Standing up and saying, no, we're going to have tough negotiations, fair play. But this kind of dismissive, idiotic behavior, he's a juvenile, and I invite Donald Trump, come up anytime in the winter, Donald, try and drive our roads, try and win an argument with any woman in Canada, try and take us on anything where we are very comfortable at. We're pretty tough and resilient people. With the Trump election, I hear the words of Antonio Gramsci, the old world is dying and the new world struggles to be born. Now is the time of monsters. It's a time of monsters when a world watches a genocide in real time and does nothing. A time of monsters when our world is on fire and our government bankrolls the planet burners. The Trump election was all about empowering the monsters, about validating blame and hate in order to ignore the immense challenges we face.
They're going to try and blame the fires in Los Angeles. They'll probably try and blame us for that. when I was president, I demanded that this guy, the governor, accept the water coming from the north, from way up in Canada and the north. It flows down through, right through Los Angeles. Massive, millions and millions of gallons of water a week, probably, I think even a day. Massive amounts coming out from the mountains, from the melts. Yeah. And even without it, even during the summer, it's a natural flow of water. They would have had so much water, they wouldn't have known what to do with it. You would have never had the fires. People would have been able to sprinkle their lawns and everything else. The problem is it's so dry. It was always so dry there. And it's just a mess. They could have, they could have, maintained their forests.
While Donald Trump has been trolling Canada, Canada has been helping to take water out of the ocean to use for the wildfires. Because water doesn't magically flow south from Canada, despite Trump claiming that it does. Trump throwing his weight around is nothing new, but what feels more troubling is the left's lack of fight. For years, Democrats have relied on a "we're not as bad as them" kind of message, and 2016 should have taught us that that's often not enough to actually win. This is a time of monsters, and the real danger here is complacency. It's not enough to simply be the lesser evil anymore. Now is the time for action before it's too late, and late might be coming sooner than you think. When you click the join button and become a Tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?